Philadelphia, get ready to be inspired. If you need help finding the light in the darkness, don't touch that dial. Let's navigate life through the lens of hope with Scotty P. Inspirational speaker Scotty P speaks the importance of mental health in society and encourages techniques to overcome the everyday mental health obstacles that hold us back in life. It's not just inspiration, it's Scotty P inspiration.
What's going on, everybody? It's Scott Prendergast here, coming at you live with another episode of the Scotty P Inspiration Show, coming at you live from my house. Again, this is our makeshift studio. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. If you do not know, my name is Scott Prendergast, aka Scotty P, and I'm your host of the show today. And I really hope that this episode, you're going to be able to take something positive from it so that you can learn to navigate your life through the lens of hope and rediscover the resilience within yourself. That's my whole goal. That's the goal of my business. That is the goal of this show as well. So thank you once again, everybody, for being here today. Now, for those of you that don't know, very quickly, I want to just go over a few things. If you want to watch the show, a couple ways you can do it. You can go on any major podcast platform, search The Scotty P Inspiration Show. You can watch previous episodes that way, or I should say listen to them. Or you could go on my website, scottypinspo.com. You can listen to them that way. Or you could go on my YouTube channel, which is Scotty P Inspiration, and you can watch previous episodes that way as well. So everybody, without further ado, we're going to jump right into things because you know that is what I like to do. I love to just jump into it so you can take something positive from this and start your day off on the right foot, or your afternoon, or whatever it is, or even your night, okay? Now, I like to always start with a quote, and that's what I'm going to do again here. The quote that I have is as followed. There's what I want, and there's where I'm at. Every one step forward got me 5 steps back. Ooh, I love that. I'm going to read that again. There's what I want, and there's where I'm at. Every one step forward got me 5 steps back. And this is a lyric from a song called That's the Thing About Praise by the artist Blessing Offer. I absolutely love that song, and I absolutely love this quote. And I think there's a lot here to, as the trendy people say, to unpack, because there's so much that goes into this little quote. So let's talk about this for a second here. I think it really comes down to what I want versus where I'm at is what we're all dealing with in life, right? Because we all have these wants, and yet we all know that we're at a certain place. Now, every once in a while, the want and the at is together. It's the same thing, and that's awesome. Right? That's what we all strive to be. We all want our wants to be where we're at. But the thing is once we get our wants to be where we're at, there's another set of wants, and another set of wants, and another set of wants, right? It's kind of a cycle that doesn't really seem to stop. So I think what the artist is saying in this song is just acknowledging, like, hey, these are two different things. There's what I want and there's where I'm at. They're not the same right now, but when I go one step forward, it's taking me 5 steps back, meaning that every time this artist, what I think he's saying is every time he goes forward, it's really not the correct direction for him. So he needs to make a change in his life, right? So in the same way, I want to really kind of start out here with a little exercise for you, the listener, to do. I love to make this show interactive and listener-centric. So the exercise I want you to do is this, and you can write it down or you could just say it out loud. You can do whatever you want because you could just do whatever you want, all right? Now, here's what I would like you to do, though, okay? First question is this. I want you to ask yourself, what do I want out of life? First question, what do I want out of life? Just write it down, think about it, ask it, put it in your notes, whatever it is. What do I want out of life? Okay, that's question 1. Now we're going to follow that question up with this. How do you get there? Okay, how do you get there to that want that you have for life? So question 1, what do you want out of life? Question 2, how do you get to that want? How do you get there? All right. Now, question 3, the last one for this little part is, what's something you can do today to get yourself going in that right direction towards your want? What is something that you can do today to get yourself going in the right direction towards that want? All right, now these 3 questions in succession here. What do you want out of life? How do you get there? What's something you can do to get yourself going in the right direction of that want? These 3 things here all follow up on each other. And when we answer these 3 questions, it's going to help us to be a little bit more clear and intentional about what it is that we want out of this life and how we go about getting it. Because what's the point of having a want, a desire, a dream for something if you have no idea how to achieve it? If you have no idea about how to take the first steps to get yourself on the right road to get in the right direction towards that want, right? We could sit here and have wants all day, and we do that. We want this, we want that, our dream is this, our desire is that, and that's great. We need that. But without being clear enough to understand, how do I get there? What's something I can do to help me to get on the right path to there? Then we're just going to do nothing more than be sitting here thinking about it all day, right? So for that little exercise there, my hope is that it's going to help you to just clarify a little bit more in your life what exactly it is that you want if you don't already know. And if you do already know, how to start taking some correct steps to get towards that. Because I'm a true believer that you already have the answer inside of you. Sometimes you just need to have it pulled out a little bit, right? And so by doing these 3 questions, maybe you've thought about what you wanted in life. Maybe you've done a little something that can help you to get there, but you just need a little bit more refining, okay? And so that's what that first part of the exercise does, and I hope that could help you. Now, there is a second part to this exercise as well. The first part is for those who know what the wants are in life, but the second part is maybe if you're struggling a little bit more, and that's okay, all right? Second part is this. First question: where is it that you're at right now? Where are you at right now? And I don't mean someone to say, Scott, I'm watching this from St. Louis, Missouri. Scott, I'm watching it from Spokane, Washington. Scott, I'm watching it from Bucks County. No. I don't mean that. I mean, where are you at in your life right now? Are you at a place that you're happy with? Are you in a place of frustration? Are you in a place of change? Are you in a place of turmoil? Where are you at right now? Where are you at in your life right now? Okay, I want you to think about that. I want you to answer that question. All right. And then to follow that up, we got a few more here. Okay. So that's the first one. The second one is, what do you need in order to change where you're at? What do you need to change where you're at? Okay. And then we're going to follow that up with this. How do you change it? Okay. So what do you need to change it? How do you change it? How do you go about changing it? Okay. That's your next question. And the last question is this: what's the first step? So we're going to review that. Question first is this: where are you at in your life right now? Followed up by, what do you need to change it? Followed up by, how do you change it? Followed up by, what's the first step? Okay, now this little exercise is to help you to maybe get a little unstuck. Because I think a lot of times we feel so stagnant, we feel so stuck in our lives, right? We had that passion at one point. We had a dream, a desire. We were chasing after it, a want at some point, and then somewhere along the way, throughout disappointments and failures and rejections, we just got stuck. And when we get stuck, we have a tendency to sit in that stuckness, if you will, and just think about what could have been, should have been, would have been, rather than looking around where we're at right now and say, okay, what do I need to do to change? How do I change this? What is the first step to changing it? So for the beginning part of this show, I gave you 2 kind of exercises. I gave you the exercise of what do you want out of life, and I gave you the exercise of how do you move forward from where you're at. I don't know which one you need to do. Maybe you need to do both of these. Maybe you need to do neither. Maybe it's one, not the other. But whichever way it is, my goal is that by doing that little exercise, it's going to help you to just have a little bit more understanding about where you're at and what it is that you want in this life. Because when those goals are clear, man, there ain't nothing that's going to stop us or stop you from getting where you want to be or enjoying where you're at right now. Okay? And that's something that I want to go a little bit deeper on right here. Is I was looking at some of the things that I wrote down, and I wrote down this: your wants can provide direction, but don't allow them to control every step. Your wants are merely a guide. They are a guide, okay? This is something that a lot of times, admittedly, me, myself, I've also gotten this wrong. Allowing wants to be the sole North Star in my life. I want this, so I'm going for it. And I get tunnel vision with this one. And then anything that doesn't apply to the want in any way, good or bad, I just have no time for because it's all about the want. And I find that anytime I've been in a situation like that, it's never really ended in a great way. It never really has. Because I don't think we were meant to be here to just solely focus on the wants. What about the where we're at? Right? And that's why I say let these wants be a guide, because we need wants in our lives. Otherwise, we're just going to be sitting here just doing absolutely nothing, right? We need these wants, but they are a guide. They are not step-by-step directions that have to be followed 100% and everything else has to be ignored. They're a mere guide to get us along to where it is that we're going, or as I said, want to go. But just make sure that we don't make that mistake of worshiping the once and forgetting about everything else and just allowing that tunnel vision to block everybody and everything great out of this life because it's not included with that want. Is this an easy thing to do? No, especially in today's society because everyone's telling you, stay focused. Don't let anybody get in the way of your dreams. Absolutely. Go, go, go. Harder, harder, harder. Keep going. Don't stop. Never stop. Have discipline. Work hard. Gosh, it's exhausting. We hear this all the time. And yes, it is important to work hard and have dreams and be diligent. Yes, no one's saying that's not important. But I also see time and time again with people that I work with, somebody who's going after it, doing all that things, and then they're incredibly unhappy and they get stuck and they get frustrated and they get in a really low place because of it. And what I've found is through those people I've worked with and spoken to is that what helps them is getting out of that want tunnel vision and experiencing so much more that is here and take some of that pressure off while still allowing the wants to, be there, but not allowing that want to be that North Star, so to speak. Something for you to be able to take away from this that I hope can maybe help you a little bit if that applies to you. If that's something that maybe you found yourself falling into that trap of thinking before. I know I certainly have. And I speak from experience on what helped me to get through that. And again, it's not like you have to completely just say, I'm going to sit here and not have a desire for anything in life and just let whatever falls out of the sky and comes my way, come my way. If you want to do that, that's great. But I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying take a little off the throttle of the wants being the North Star and instead realize there's other aspects of life too to be followed. It's not all about the wants, okay? So if I'm looking a little bit here at some of the other notes that I wrote that are going along with the stuff here, I want to talk a little bit more about the where you're at. We've talked a lot about today about the wants, and that's important, but what about the where you're at? And I think when we say where you're at, it's always kind of a negative connotation because people always want to be somewhere else. Even if they're at a really good where you're at, there's always a more attractive want in the distance, right? That want is gold, it's shimmering, it's shiny, it's really cool, right? That's in the distance. Oh, wow, I really want that. But here's the thing that's interesting. A lot of times where you're at right now was at one time a want of yours, right? And where you're at right now at one point, maybe 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, was that shiny want in the distance that you wanted more than anything in the world. And now you're here and you just have another want in the distance that's shiny and distracting you from enjoying the fact that you're here now. And I think this is an epidemic in this world. The inability to enjoy the present moment. And it's something I have a lot of hard times with as well because I'm very goal driven, admittedly myself. And it's so difficult. But one of the things that really has helped me a lot is understanding that in this situation, in this life, where I'm at right now and the things that I have, I know for a fact that this was that shiny want in the distance at some point. I know that being my age at 26 and the things I have in my life a few years ago, I wanted what I have more than anything in the world. And I have it now. And some days I'm still distracted in the distance of the next one. But other days I really sit down and I say to myself, man, let's start reflecting back to when you were 22 and in college and you wanted your own business more than anything. And you wanted that house and your fiance more than anything. And if you would have told me at 22 that I would have those things in a few years, I would have said, oh my goodness, my life is complete. Everything's going great. This is all that I ever wanted. I couldn't ask for anything more. Right? So sometimes I have to sit back and I have to really allow myself to sit in that and realize where I'm at right now is something that I desired so greatly before. And yes, there's more work to be done. Yes, there's more things that need to be accomplished and that I'm going after, but just taking 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, maybe even a whole day or a week to just be like, man, this is really great that I'm here. Practicing that gratitude. And I know we hear this a lot, and you know me, I can't stand mainstream stuff. Anyone that listens to the show knows that I'm just like, nah, bro, I can't stand it. But I do hear the word practicing gratitude a lot. And I do agree with this because it's something that really centers you, it grounds you, and it allows you to enjoy your life more rather than always having to run through everything and go to the next spot. And I always kind of put it like this way too. Me personally, I'm a very fast eater. I'm trying to work on this, admittedly, because I know it's got good for you, but I eat super quickly. I get hungry, I see the food, I'm like, blah, 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 and I just chow through it in like 2 minutes, right? But what I found a lot of times is when I do that, I don't really enjoy the food that much. I eat it. I'm like, oh, this is so great. And then I'm done. And then I'm hungry like 20 minutes later, right? But I found that every once in a while, when I have one of my favorite dishes, I eat slower purposely because I really want to focus on the flavors. I want to focus on how much this food means to me and the memories that are brought along with it and the time and effort that went into somebody making it. When I eat slower, I'm able to realize all that. And not only do I enjoy it more, but I'm full for longer and I'm not like usually as hungry, right? So, not trying to get in the whole diet thing and eating thing, but just giving you an example of me. And in the same way of what I just said with the food, I think the same can be said for our lives. We're just running through one accomplishment after another after another. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll take this. I'll take that. That's great. Thank you. Oh, this is awesome. It's great. Blah, blah, blah. And we never really take the time to fully digest it. And we never really take the time to fully realize that we're experiencing something that was a dream of ours at one time. Right? And dreams change, but it's important for us to recognize when we do achieve one. Because when you achieve one, all you can focus on is the next one. But what about giving yourself some credit for the one that you just achieved? And working on that is not easy. And gratitude is not easy, but when you're intentional about it, it really does make a difference. So that's something I hope you can really grab onto from this episode as well, is take some time to really focus on where you're at and realize that it was a want of yours at some point, and give yourself credit for being able to get there and have that right now. So as we're moving on, we got a few minutes left of the show here today. Still going on this topic here. I want to still kind of stay on the where we're at because I think that needs some more attention. And I think where we're at has so much potential. I always think about it like this. Anyone who's listened to the show has heard me say my famous quote. Well, it's not famous, but a quote that I always say, hidden gems in the valley, right? When you're in the valley, there's a lot of hidden gems there, but we've got to be willing to get our hands dirty and look in the dirt to find those hidden gems to give us the strength to climb to the mountain peaks in the distance, right? And when it comes to the where we're at right now, I think there is so much here that we're just not tapping into. There's opportunities for us. There's happiness for us. There's new skills for us, new relationships, new personality traits for us in the here and now, if we're willing to tap into it, if we're willing to open our eyes to what's right now. Because so many of us are blinded by the future or stuck in the past that we can't see what's going on here and now, right? But if we can move past that and really say, okay, being my age, being where I'm at, being at this apartment today, this house today, being with this person today, whatever it is, this is where I'm at. What in this day can I find that's going to help me? What in this day can I find that's going to allow me to really practice gratitude and be grateful for where I'm at in this life? And when you go through the day with that lens, with that mindset, you'll start finding things like, oh, wow, I'm grateful that I've got, this person with me. Or, wow, I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to have this day off so that I can enjoy this activity that I don't usually get to enjoy, whatever it is, right? And all these things are in the here and now. They're not in the mountaintop in the distance. They're not in the abyss of the past. They are the here and now. But we've got to adjust our focus to include the here and now so we can see and enjoy these things. Because there's some pretty cool stuff here. And I would hate for you to miss it, and I would hate for me to miss it. I would hate for anyone to miss it. But it's going to be gone unless we do something about it and take what's here right now and enjoy it. Right? So here and now. Here and now. And remember, if you're saying this, okay, Scott, that's great, but I'm not successful yet. I'm not, who I want to be yet. I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's great. Nobody is, right? But you still have to remember right here, right now means you already are successful to a degree. You're successful at making it another day. You're successful at moving through some challenge that you had last week. You're successful in being here for this reason, right? So success is relative. And start allowing yourself to realize maybe didn't achieve the huge goal yet, but I am still successful because I've overcome whatever litany of things to be here right now. And remind yourself of that stuff that you've overcome. You've already achieved something. Maybe it's not the ultimate achievement, but you have achieved something. And it's really important for us to be able to remind ourselves of that so that we don't just constantly go trying to fill an empty pit with the wants and desires of the future. We're starting to fill ourselves up with the stuff that we already have done and being thankful for that. And also giving ourselves a little bit of credit instead of always saying we're not enough. Because that's so much of what leads to people feeling like they're not enough because they look at their life and say, I haven't accomplished anything. I haven't done this yet. I haven't done that yet. Instead of focusing on all the things that they have done and where they were and where they're at now. Perspective. It's a powerful thing, isn't it? Something for you all to keep in mind today. Okay. So this was a really cool episode today. I love talking about this topic. It's something that I've worked on a lot in my life. I work on a lot with people that I work with, and I just really hope that you're able to take something positive from it. So really, as I kind of wrap this up, I want to leave you with this. We've got to make sure that our wants and where we're at can coexist. We can have those wants, those dreams, those desires, but we can also learn to be thankful and appreciate and realize we have achieved something where we're at right now, right? They can coexist together if we allow it to. If we take our eyes off the wants every once in a while and instead focus on the valley, so to speak, of where we're at and realizing there's a lot of good to be here too. Because the fact of the matter really is this. There's a good chance that at some point your want right now will become where you're at. There's a very good chance that whatever it is that you really want out of your life, if you're willing to put the time and effort in, it's going to become where you're at. There's a very good chance. But there is 100% chance that where you're at right now in your life will not be the same ever again. Think about that. There's a good chance that your want will eventually become where you're at, but there's 100% chance that where you're at right now will never be the same again in the exact same way. So what does that tell us? Well, that tells me that I should really enjoy this moment and put most of my time focusing on where I'm at right now, because it's never going to be the same. And I want to make sure I get everything out of it as possible and get all those hidden gems out of that dirt and hold on to it, knowing that those hidden gems will lead me to those shiny ones eventually. But that way I'll be able to appreciate both of them for where they are, instead of totally dismissing one because I'm so focused solely on the other. So everybody, I hope that's something you could take from this show today. Thanks for being a great audience. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for all the love that I get on the social media and people messaging me, all that stuff. I really do appreciate it, everyone. So tune in again next week for the next episode. Thank you all. This is Scotty P, helping you to navigate life through the lens of hope and rediscover the resilience within. This is Scotty P, signing off.